chat box. Okay.
Very good. Yes, we can see you and hear you just fine. Thank you, Mrs. Masagi.
You can call me Elham, by the way.
Very good.
Okay.
We are recording now, so you can go ahead and proceed.
Sure. I just want to make it a bit bigger. I think it's better. Okay. This is the second session for TEC, teaching English to children. So before starting, do you have any questions from last session? No? So oh, that's we, it's not well. Who are we going to teach? Our learners. Who are our learners?
Children, young learners, very young learners.
Bravo. And what are we going to teach?
English?
Only one skill? Yes, definitely English. But only one skill?
No, the 4 skills.
Yes, the 4 skills. Grammar, vocabulary, phonics, reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Bravo. Very good. So last session, we talked about different techniques and the characteristics and the stages. Yes? Which methods we were talking about? Could you remember we were talking about 3 methods?
Was...
Can I start? Hello.
Yes. Hey there.
Hi.
Hello.
As I remember, the first one was for visual person, and one of them for auditory and kinesthetic.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really nice. We were talking about the different learning styles. Yes, some of our students are visual, some of them are auditory, some of them are kinesthetic, and some of them read and write. They need to read and write something to learn. Bravo. And then we talked about the methods. One was see, hear, do. And then the other one was TPR. TPR stands for?
Total physical response.
Bravo, total physical response, excellent. And the third one was engage.
Study, activate.
Bravo, very good. Engage, study, and activate. Now, let's talk about the stages in process. Now, in process, when you want to start either any skills, speaking, reading, writing, or listening, even vocabulary or grammar, there are some stages. The first one is pre-task. Then we get to while task, post-task, and then we think about homework. So what about pre-task? For example, pre-listening task, pre-speaking task, pre-reading task, or pre-writing task. So what kind of activity we need to give to students, or as teachers, we need to consider in pre-task stage? You want to start teaching.
I think we can show them some pictures or a picture and then elicit some questions about the new grammar or some vocabularies that we are based on that picture to check their background knowledge if they know, I don't know, the answer to the questions or not, because we are starting from to the unknown.
Bravo. Thank you. We always start from known, then that we lead them to unknown part. Excellent. Any other ideas for pre-task? Which is the engagement part?
I think for pre-task engagement, we can ask them to watch any movie. For the listening activity.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Very good. So So we want to put our students in the, it's a start with C, the words I'm looking for. What is the word?
Context.
Bravo. In the context. Yes, we need to put our students in the context so they know what's going on. We cannot jump and start. We need to put our students in the context. And as your friend said, as Mushkan said, we're going to elicit what they know, ask questions, or we started with a short video clip or with pictures, even with reality. Here I have my toolbox. See, this is my toolbox. So using dolls, just get their attention, or puppets, good, or different things, really. We put our students in the context. It's so they see what is the stem of the lesson, what's going on, what's the lesson is about. And we activate their
Background knowledge.
bravo, you can remember it well. Background knowledge. Okay, we activate their background knowledge just to add more things. So then we start to talk about the target language. Bravo. So when we put our students in the context and we want to and lead them new lesson to unknown part. But we discussed it last session. If they want to listen to something or to speak about something or even read about something or write about something, they need some tools, Talking about vocabulary, you need to pre-teach the key. Pre-teach the key.
Vocabulary.
Keywords.
Bravo. Excellent. The keywords. Do you remember we discussed if they don't know the keywords, they won't understand anything from the text. I remember I told you this example that the whole thing text is about, or whole context is about how to make strawberry jam. If they don't know how to make, what's the meaning of strawberry, or if they don't know what the jam means, so do they understand anything out of the context? No. So you need to pre-teach the keywords. Then you start teaching the skill, and during while task, you need to practice not only the form, but also the usage, the meaning. Just think about grammar part, conditional sentences or present continuous. So they should know the form. You start drilling with your students. I am drinking. He is drinking. She is drinking. We are drinking. They are drinking. You are drinking. To learn the form. But it's not enough. Also, this usage, when do we use present continuous? You cannot explain it to children because they even don't know the grammar in their mother tongue, the jargon, okay, the definition. We have to bring some different activities, a variety of activities to the class because they learn holistically, They learn holistically. And through activities, they will learn. Okay? So while I'm doing something right now, I said, I am drinking. I am drinking. Or I am writing because it's happening right now. So we work in wild task, when we practice, we not only work on the form, but also we practice the usage and meaning. So put them in the context, they practice, and you monitor them as a teacher. First, you have controlled practice, then freer practice. You put them in different situations, different tasks, different games, and they use the target language. Then we get to post task. What is the post task? What is the post-task? What is the purpose of the post-task?
Application, maybe?
Task is the process after the understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Well, actually, to know that everything that we like taught before or in that session, we want a kind of evaluation to know that did they get in understanding or any other.
Very good. Very good. Have they learned it? Bravo. Yes, that's right. That's right. So you get the feedback. Okay? You get the feedback. Have they learned? Also, it's a reflection. It's a reflection on my own teaching. Okay? You just check with your students. Have they learned or still they have some problems? I need to practice more. So that is the post task part or stage. Definitely we think about relevant homework. So what they have learned in the class, they need to practice at home. So don't forget that part, homework. Now, let's talk about different sub-skills and skills, okay? So in this stages, pre, while, post. What about teaching new words, vocabulary? What techniques do we use to teach words? Remember, we have different students with different learning styles. Some of them are visual, some of them are auditory, some of them are kinesthetics, and some need to read and write. Okay? So what techniques do we use to teach words?
Show images.
Very good. Pictures to convey the meaning.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think many methods come together. So it can be auditory, it can be by pictures, can be combined together, mixtures of the methods.
Okay. Radva, can you give us an example? Because I know you teach to children. When you want to teach new words,
Yeah,
what do you do?
I put the pictures and then I sound it out and tell them to sound it out with sound it out to me. So I make both. I put the picture and I ask them to sound it out. Is how to learn the
repeat it.
words. Yeah, and
Can I
also
say?
I can put it in sentences so they can understand
Okay.
what I said and understand the words in inside how it gonna be inside a sentence. I put it in sentence, in useful sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Radva.
Can I
Yes,
say?
please. Sure, sure.
Actually, we can
Yes, ma'am.
use phonics strategy to read the words for the children. Phonics strategy that we take out the sounds of every alphabet and then read the word.
Oh, okay. For example, k, a, p,
For
cat.
at cat, ma
Okay.
at
Yes,
mat,
Tony.
b at bat, like that.
Yes, you work on spelling as well in this way. Not only pronunciation, but spelling. Any other ideas? Any other
Like
ideas?
through pictures,
Yes.
the spelling of the word through visual activity. Like we show the word and then ask them to read aloud
Thank
or
you.
through the
Thank you very
books.
much,
Or
Samar.
through the books.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. So when
I was
we
gonna
want
say,
to teach a new word, yes, please.
also,
Please
if
go
you're
ahead.
going over verbs to act out words physically,
Can you give us an example?
just like jump or walking, if you're doing the motion while you're learning the word.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Miming. Bravo. Very good. So when we want to teach new words, as you said, we work on meaning, pronunciation, usage, and also spelling. So for convey the meaning, convey the meaning. We can use audiovisual aids like pictures, drawing, realia. So look here. You show it to your student and say, what is it? That's a gun. So everybody repeat, it's a gun, it's a gun. Or it's a doll. Or let me see what I have. It's a ball. What color is it? It's purple. Okay, so you can use realia, pictures, or drawing on the board, okay? And miming, okay? Miming, like cooking, cooking, or as your friend said, jumping, or seating, standing, okay? Miming. Also, you can use synonym and antonym. And Klein. What do I mean? Here I have an example. Oops, no. This is pictures, using pictures. Okay? So what does it show?
Teacher and
Very good.
or
English teacher. What about this one? What about this one?
Phone, computer, PC, or
Okay.
a woman.
answering phone.
What secretary? What about this one?
A
Music
music
class.
lesson.
Music lesson.
Violin.
Bravo. A music teacher. Also, you can teach a violin. Yes. What about this one?
Sports
Oh,
A
class.
sport
Gym.
or
Gym trainer.
trainer.
Yes, gym trainer. Very good. So we can use picture. This is Klein. Okay. But drawing a line, you can show it. For example, what's the difference between freezing, cold, chilly, cool, mild, warm, hot, boiling? Or if you want to show it, what's the difference between never, rarely, sometimes, often, always? So we can use Klein to work on meaning, convey the meaning. So we can use different techniques.
excuse
What's
me.
after it? Yes, please.
First of all, I should say sorry because of my late response to you and dear Daniel.
To have it here.
I had just finished teaching and I got connected and then I wanted to have dinner. So sorry for my delay. And something I'm gonna ask is about the way that we should teach abstract words and abstract meanings to young learners and very young learners. This is something that I used to have challenges with because when it comes to concrete meanings and concrete words, we can easily teach them using objects, real objects, really, as you said, images. But when it comes to abstract meanings, it is a little bit frustrating for them to get the meaning by using images or I don't know. Could you please tell
All
us
right.
techniques
Sure,
about
sure.
how to teach
Definitely.
abstract meanings to young learners?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very good questions. So what about abstract words? So we can tell them stories, true stories, anecdotes, or gestures. For example, when you want to teach them interesting. So is that, you know what? Frozen. Guys, do you know about Frozen? That's animation, Disney cartoons. Is that Frozen is my favorite cartoon. I really like it. I really like it. I've watched it more than 5 times because of my daughter, Okay, more than 5 times. It is very interesting. It's very interesting. But Batman is good too. I don't watch it very much. I don't watch it very much. Not very interesting to me, but I really like Frozen. It's very interesting. Okay, so true examples, true stories, anecdotes, gestures. So when they say interesting, it means something nice, something is appealing to you. But it says boring. Yeah, that's really boring. So it means it's not very interesting. So I guess this is the way you teach, or these techniques that you use are best ways to teach them abstract words. Definitely, you cannot show them something, but even you can show them some pictures, a bored person or an excited person. So look at these emojis, for example. or this one. So through pictures, even you can explain abstract words. Thank
When
you,
it comes
Joseph.
to
That was a
telling
very
this,
good question.
when it comes to telling a story, in order to teach abstract meanings, I think something that must be considered is to levelize the story that is narrated, or the examples that are presented to students level. And again, it could be another challenge.
Yes, definitely. So always keep in mind, just one step above their level. Don't talk too easily or too difficult. Okay? It shouldn't be too difficult. We speak simple English, but not too easy for them, not too difficult. It's I+1, just one step above. But as we discussed last session, your body language, your facial expressions, your gestures are very important, especially teaching to young learners. So thank you very much for your questions and your ideas. So after conveying the meaning, what is the second step? Working on pronunciation and stress. So you ask them to repeat, interesting, interesting, interesting. So the stress is at the beginning, okay? Interesting. Or boring, boring. You ask them to repeat after you, and then you have individually checked, okay? So in your online classes, you ask them, okay, unmute your microphone. And for example, Tommy, you said, and they said, for example, interesting. Thank you. Or Nazi, you say that. Or Ali, you say. So check, randomly check with your students. So you work on the meaning, then you work on pronunciation and stress. Also, it's a time to check with your students if they have learned the meaning correctly. So that is the third step. We call it CCQ, okay? Concept checking questions. Concept checking questions. Can you give me an example for concept checking CCQ, concept checking questions? How do you check with your students if they have learned the meaning correctly?
By giving them a number of sentences and a box of words, and we ask them to complete the sentences uh, using the words in the box, or it could be in the form of matching a column of words, a column of sentences, and ask them. Even it would be, I think, very interesting if we ask them to do them in pairs or groups.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Any other ideas?
Well, yeah, when I teach vocabulary to my students, actually, I ask them to write a very short story with like those vocabularies to make sure that they understand the meaning of them and they can use it properly. Also, about the like, if it's about maybe reading, I ask them like, what, which part did you like the best? Which one do you think it was the worst part? Which one is your favorite? Or maybe personalize, I mean, a kind of a hot seat activity, and they have to ask some questions regarding to the reading or the grammar. Like, I mean, use the grammar. If it's about like present perfect, I asked them to ask some questions about just one student, about her experience. Like, for example, we choose one student and others ask her, have you ever done anything wrong, or have you ever helped your mom, have you ever, we personalize most of the time for the grammar.
Thank you. Thank you, which is post stage. Thank you. Thank you very much.
May I add
Okay,
something?
sure.
And another interesting game, which is loved by many students, called Hanged Man, I think is a good practice for CCQ part of the class, by asking them to guess the letters of a word that you have in your mind. And the
Okay.
students really love, especially young learners, really love this game.
Hangman game. Yes, you're right. Using games also. Thank you very much. So It's good to mention ICQ here as well. We have two words here, or two jargons, CCQ and ICQ. CCQ stands for concept check questions. What about ICQ? Thank you, Mujgan. You ask yes, no questions or WH questions to make sure. Bravo, bravo. That's very good for concept checking questions. Okay, what about ICQ, guys? Do you have any ideas what does ICQ stands for?
Instruction
Maybe
check question.
Thank you. Yes, maybe.
information checking question. Some as
As
it.
your friend said,
Yeah. Actually, I didn't have her
instruction.
voice.
Okay. Instruction checking questions. So that's the difference. CCQ is a question we ask the students to ensure they have understood our definition or explanation. But ICQ is a question we ask the students to make sure how learners have understood what to do. If you ask them now, I want you open your books to page 39. I want you to read the first line and fill in the blank. So what are you going to do? And they said, we need to fill in the blanks. You just check with your students that they've got the instructions. That's ICQ. And you need to do it, especially with young learners. So you just ask, what are you going to do? We are going to practice the dialogue after you give them the instructions. But CCQ, concept check questions, you check with them like your friend Mujgan said, I ask yes, no questions or WH questions. Let me give you an example. I want to check if my students got the meaning of early. Guys, can I ask them, for example, do you get up early in the morning? Is that a good concept check question? Do you get up early in the morning?
No.
Why not?
For example, we want to teach, I don't know, the meaning of teacher or an English teacher. So we should ask, for example, does an English teacher teach math or English? They say she teaches, for example, English. Questions like this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mushkan. Yes, the question should be meaningful. If you say, do you get up early in the morning? They say, yes, we do. No, we don't. So, have they got the meaning of early? Yes, we do. No, we don't. But what if you ask them, what time do you get up? I get up at 6 o'clock. Oh, thank you. Ali, what time do you get up? I get up at 10. So, who gets up early? They said Nazi gets up early. Why? Because she gets up at 6. That's a good concept check question. Okay? So you know, they got the meaning. Okay? So we work on the meaning, convey the meaning through different techniques, stories, anecdotes, synonym, antonym, miming, AVA, audiovisual aids, okay, Klein, really on the things. Then we work on pronunciation and stress. Okay, ask them to repeat early, early, early. And then we have individual check just to monitor they pronounce it correctly. Third step, we ask concept checking questions. So we ask them some questions or give them some activities like this one. Okay, that's another activities for CCQ. So we use tables. So one part we write the phrasal verbs, and then I said you have to write the antonym. Turn on, they have to write turn off. Put on, they have to write take off. Okay, this is one way. Or game, as you Sepide said, or use the grid. Okay, find 3 tools that you can use for finding. So they have to go through it and find the words. Or different games you can run. For example, here I said you can put some cards on the board. This is ones, okay, for kinesthetic learners because they like to move. So we said, okay, you put them in two groups. You put the cards, okay, turn over the cards on the table in your face-to-face classes. But in your online classes, you can put the cards on the board and they click on it. They click and then they can see the other part, okay, backward. So they have to match the cards. For example, put on your coat, okay, or put on your shoes, but not put on the light. That is wrong. So they come in from each group. One of the students come and take two cards. If they match, they get it. If not, they have to turn it back and put it over there. So in this way, you can check if they know the vocabulary. So you can run different games, different games in the class. Also, what is the fourth? Is working on spelling. Also, you have to work on spelling. They should know how to write the words, okay? So you can have different games. Is it possible to you have to ask, honestly, you have to ask TESOL Canada. So at the end of the presentation, you can please ask it from Daniel. Okay? Thank you. So guys, we go through different steps for teaching words. Number one, convey the meaning. So we use different techniques. You never go for one technique. You never only explain. So you need to have your toolbox with you in children classes. So convey the meaning, then pronunciation, work on pronunciation, concept checking questions, and after that is spelling. They should learn how to write the word. So you ask them to write it and then you check it. They can write it on their mini board in online classes. This is my mini board. So they write on it and said, now turn on your webcam and show it to me. So they turn on their webcam and show it to you, okay? Or even you can ask them to spell it. So how do you write cat? They say C-A-T, like phonics. So the point is you need to work on spelling as well. So these are the steps you use to teach vocabulary. Then we get to the dialogue. Then we get to for speaking, for example, or conversation time. Usually in young learners books, you have conversation time. So what do we teach? I mean, you teachers, what do you teach in conversation time? Only vocabulary? No. What else you teach?
Sometimes some like maybe key sentences like what do you like, what do you wear, and sometimes some idioms.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What else?
We can teach them a story of a conversation, or they can guess the story of the conversation by looking at the pictures.
Thank you. What else?
In conversation time, we can also talk about their daily life, what they do in their daily life, like how they spend the last day. Or we can ask for every day, like how did you spend yesterday? So the student will tell about their daily routine. So we can talk in conversation time that also. We can talk about any news, like daily news.
Yes,
Like
in this
that.
way you can put them in the context as well. Very good. Thank you.
Welcome.
As what do you usually do in your free time? Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, to let them speak about the spare time and and their hobbies and their other things they like to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So in this way you can put them in the context and then
Language use. we give
Language
them
use.
language use. We teach
Mhm.
them how to use English to communicate.
Bravo. So you work on functions? Yes,
Function.
that's right.
Yes, in
That's right.
conversation time, we
So you
can
work on speaking
also tell
skill.
them sentence structures, vocabularies, and the words that they can use surrounding them.
Bravo. Excellent. So in conversation time or in the dialogue, you works on spelling and also listening, because all the dialogues or all conversations in young learners books have audio parts. Okay? So you work on speaking skill, listening skill, you work on functions like making suggestion. Let's go shopping. Or invitation. Would you like a cup of tea? Okay, you work on functions. Also, you work on pronunciation and intonation. How do you ask to be questions or WH question? Is that right? What's your name? Okay, you work on intonation, vocabulary, grammar, and even a stress word in a sentence. Okay, what's the name of your school? What's the name? What's name of your school? Okay, where do you go? Where do you go? So stress word is go in the sentence. So you're going to work on all aspects of language in conversation time. So how do you work on listening? When you work on listening comprehension, you put your students in the context, as you said, you ask them questions, you bring up pictures, okay? So, and then you activate their background knowledge. Now you put all your students in the context. You want to work on listening skills, okay? Can I just, as a teacher, can I just turn on the audio and say, everybody, listen, remember, we said children have short
Span memory.
Concentration span.
Present span.
Bravo. Short concentration span. They cannot concentrate for a long time. What is the best way? It's good I give them a task. I give them an activity to help them to concentrate. Okay? So what kind of activity you can give them that encourage them, motivate them to listen to the audio and concentrate?
To write some questions on the board for them. First of all, we should put them in the context. For example, okay, let's listen to a dialogue between, for example, Sarah and Joe. They're talking about their schools. Let's listen and see, for example, what subjects are they talking about.
Bravo. What subject? Very general questions. Any other idea? Any other ideas?
Maybe you can use chanting or singing so that they can listen.
Yes. So if it's a song, it's we can chant together. Yes, and you show them the lyrics. Okay, good. Thank you. Anything else?
We can write some incomplete sentences on the board and ask students to listen with the books closed and try to find those missing words as they listen.
Yeah, that's nice too. Very good. Very good. What else? What about the task or activity? Is it possible to give them very detailed questions? It's the first time they're listening.
For young learners, no, but in adult classes, it is okay to write some questions among which there are both detailed and general questions, but not for young learners.
Yes. Yes, it's very difficult for them. So it's better we give them or ask them some general question or give them very general comprehension tasks, because for the listening part, we just want them to get the gist of the listening, main idea. Okay? Just imagine this dialogue. I cannot play it for you because you don't have the audio sound. Yeah, this is the dialogue they have in their book. Let's walk to the shops. What's the weather like? It's sunny. Don't put on your coat, please. It's hot today, but put on your sun hat, please. Oh no, now they're out. Oh no, it's windy. My hat. Catch it because it's windy. Okay. Now it is raining. We have our umbrellas. Let's go home. Quick, open the door. Where's the key? Oh no, I haven't the key. No, we are all wet. So definitely when you play the audio, it's more meaningful. And they have the pictures. They have the pictures. So here, can you tell me what is the function here? What is language function in this dialogue?
To talk about weather conditions.
Thank you. Thank you. What's the weather like? Yes. What's the weather like? And then they learn different kinds of weather, like it's
Sunny, hot,
sunny, hot,
windy,
windy, and
raining.
raining.
But it is raining, it is windy.
Bravo, bravo. These are my keywords, okay? These are my keywords. So when I want to plan for the class, okay, when I want to plan for the class to teach this conversation, number one, I want to put them in the context. So I'm going to ask them some questions. In this dialogue, grandchildren are going out with their grandparents, okay? So I said, okay, look at these pictures. What about the first one? What can you see in the first picture? And they say,
Grandpa,
It's a family.
parents,
I can see. They're older
grandchildren.
than the
Going with the
parents.
grandparents.
Yeah. Grandparents. Okay, they are at home. They're at
No,
home.
they are at park.
Yes, they're in the park. Yes, they're going out actually outside. Very good. Are they sad or happy?
They are enjoying.
They're enjoying. Yes, they're happy. Very good. They're going
Yes.
out with their grandparents. Okay, do you go out? Imagine your children. Do you go out with your grandparents?
Yes, I
Never?
do.
Yes, you do. Okay. Where do you usually go with your grandparents? Where do you
Uh,
usually go?
I go to a park near our home.
Okay, you go to parks. Very good. Look at the second picture. Look at the second picture. What can you see in the second picture? Where are they?
They
In
are
a
at bookshop.
bookstore.
Yes, they're in a
library.
bookstore. Very good. I think it's a bookstore. It looks like bookstore.
Is it?
Yes, they
Okay.
go shopping. They go shopping. Okay, everybody. Today, Billy and Mary are going out with their grandparents. I want you to listen and tell me, where are they going? Where are they going? Okay, so that's a general question. So they say, oh, they're going out because it said, let's go shopping. They're going shopping. Okay, that's a general question. So you put them in the contents, then you ask very general comprehension questions. So you help them to concentrate. But before playing the dialogue, I need to pre-teach the
Words.
Keywords.
bravo. I need to pre-teach the keywords. So we are going to talk about the weather. So what's the weather like? Look here, it's raining. So it's good to give codes to students, young learners. So this is raining. Why? Because later when you want to check with them for concept checking questions, you want to check with your students, you can give them prompts. And say, raining. See, raining. It's raining. And then you ask them to repeat. it's raining. And this one, for example, it's
sunny.
Sunny,
sunny. And it is
hot,
hot. Huh? This is miming, yes. Techniques for conveying the meaning. And also you give them codes. Okay, so when you say this, oh, you're hot. You're hot. Okay, show me you're hot for concept checking questions. Show me you're hot. And they say, yes, it's hot. Or it's
Sunny.
sunny. Very good. It's sunny. And this one, it's windy. It's windy. Remember, W, so we work on pronunciation. W sounds wet. In some languages, like my mother tongue, Persian, we don't have this wet sound, okay? So you need to work on it. The wet. It's not windy, okay? It's not windy. It's windy, windy, windy. So we have to work on it, okay? So it's windish. It's windy. And look at the cat. The cat is
wet,
it's wet.
Wet.
It's wet. Very good.
Wet.
So you check with your students. It's raining. It's sunny. It's hot. It's windy. And then it's wet. You can ask concept checking questions like show them the picture and they said wet, hot, windy, sunny, or show me you're hot. So to start doing this. Or when you wash your hands are
Dirty.
Wet.
yes,
Wet.
but
Wet.
then they are wet. Very good. So you check the meaning with your students. After that, oh, this is for put on. Put on your coat or put on your sun hat. Then you play the conversation. The book should be closed because you're working on listening comprehension. While you're working on listening comprehension, definitely the books should be closed. Why? Why do you ask them to close your books?
Because if the books would be open, they wouldn't listen. They will look at the book and just read along instead of listening.
Yes. What
I
else?
think the concentration will be divided if the book will be opened.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. What else? Otherwise, they're going to read the dialogue. So you cannot check their listening comprehension because they read it, they find the answers from the context. So it's better you ask them to close your books and they listen. That was good. As Sepide said, it's good to put the activity on the board in your face-to-face classes. In your online classes, you put it on the board in the platform. Okay, so you put it, either match it, complete the sentence, or ask the questions. So they look at the question and they listen. After that, you're going to check if they've got the main idea of the listening. Oh, this is for checking the. So here, so that's one activity. I put some blanks. So I asked them to listen and fill in the blanks. Okay, so they are going to listen and they said, what is A? Can you remember?
Let's go to the shops.
Let's go to the shop.
Thank you. Let's go to the shop. And then you said the second
What's
one.
What's the weather you like?
We have to work on W sound. Remember, what's the weather like? Weather, windy, what? So working on pronunciation. What's the weather like? What's the weather like? Intonation. So you check with your students. If still they have problems and they cannot understand it, you play it definitely more than one time. But still you can put them in You can put them in
Pairs.
pairs. You can put them in pairs. Okay? You can put them in pairs because they should feel relaxed and comfortable in the class. That's fine. You can talk with your partner. You can talk with your classmate. No problem. Let me play it again. So they, in pairs, they consult and they talk and find the words. They listen and find the words and write it in the blanks.
Excuse
What's
me.
next? Yes, sure.
I've got a question. Is it okay that we put the students into pairs or groups, both for warm-up questions and concept checking questions? Because if yes, in this way, they won't work individually. Is it okay?
Okay, it depends on the target language and what's the aim of that activity. If the aim is accuracy and you want to check with each student, so definitely ask them individually. But if you're working, your main aim is working on fluency, so it's better in pairs they practice. It depends
For
on the aim of the
the same
activity.
situation, is it okay to ask them to do both activities in pairs and groups?
Okay, here my aim was bottom-up activity. So just they understood what's the name, okay? So they can understand what's the word. So if they can't understand it by themselves, yes, why not they consult with their friends to find the word. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So
Thank you.
later you check, sure, thank you for your question. So later when you check with them, so they get the words, the main words, you check the keywords, you get to sentences. Now they have to complete part B, but we never ask them to memorize the dialogue. Why don't we ask them to memorize it?
Because to give them the chance to have their own creativities.
Thank you, Sepide. Very good. Any other ideas? Anyone else?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sure. So we never ask children to memorize the dialogue and say, okay, here's the dialogue, A, B, A, B, A, B. Now you memorize part A, you memorize part B. You memorize part A, you memorize part B. Well, it's not good to do that.
Well, actually, because the young learners are very young learners, they are not able to memorize something exactly. Like, for example, when we say what's the weather like, maybe they understand what you're saying, maybe they can use it, but maybe it's hard for their memory or concentration.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other ideas? Any other ideas?
It's like
They have to understand.
mechanical learning, I think.
Yeah.
If they
Okay.
memorize the dialogue, it's like a mechanical learning. We should allow students to produce their own sentences.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Jay, I guess you were talking about something.
Oh yeah, I think they have to understand the situation so they know exactly when to use it rather than just memorize the whole thing and say it. But then when you understand the situation and what's going on, then they know when to use it. When they have the similar situation, they know exactly how to use it.
Thank you. Very good point. Thank you, everybody. Yes, you were right. This is communication. So we said we not only work on the form, but also on the usage. So they should understand. You put them in the situation so they understand. In this situation, these are the jargons, these are the words, these are the phrases, these are the functions I use. So they don't need to memorize it. Even maybe they say something else, okay? And instead of raining, they say snowing. It's fine. Instead of hot, they say cold. So for example, if they are in Canada and say, what's the weather like? And say, it's cold, it's freezing. But if they were in here, in my area in Iran, and so what's the weather like? Oh, it's hot. See? So that's fine. The point is they can use what's the weather like, and then they can talk about weather. So we never ask them to memorize it. Let them be creative, okay? Let them be creative. We never put them in the box. So you can use and then just omit some parts, and then you put them in groups and say you are in the park, you are in the countryside, you are in a forest, you are by the sea. So we start talking about what's the weather like. Okay. So they start imagination. We said children are very good in imagining some situation. So we said, what's the weather like? It's very hot. Let's go swimming. That's fine. Okay. So you put, this is post. You get the feedback. Okay. You get the feedback. Is that clear, everyone? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, crystal clear.
Good. Thank you. So that was for speaking skills, which were integrated with listening. Sometimes you can get the feedback through writing, integrated skills through writing. It depends on the level of the student. So we can ask them to write some sentences. So get the feedback through writing. What about listening? Definitely you need to put them in the context. Always we never start any activities without putting them in the context. So we start asking, the listening is about daily activities. So we start asking about their daily activities. What do you do every day? What do you do every weekend? Okay. Then we pre-teach the keywords to help them to understand. After that, we're going to explain about the activity and said, okay, now listen and find the right picture. So when you work on listening or reading, once we work on comprehension part, also we work on language part. When you work on comprehension, so what happened, or sometimes you stop it and say, what happened next? So you encourage them to predict, or you ask them some detailed question. What time does she get up? So they have to listen very carefully at 7 o'clock. Okay. This is top down. So we have two approaches, top down and bottom up. Top down is working on comprehension. You activate their background knowledge, then you ask them some comprehension questions or give them some comprehension activities, like put the pictures in the order. Which picture is 1, which picture is 2, which picture is 3, and which one is 4 after listening. So they need to comprehend the listening to order the pictures, okay, or to answer to your questions. So they get the bigger picture, okay, comprehend what's happening in this listening or in this reading. That is top-down approach. Well, what about bottom-up approach? You work on language part, like words, like pronunciation, like stress. For example, it said, I've got a new coat. So you say new coat. Okay, I've got a new coat. So they have to listen very carefully and say, I've got a new coat. So you work on pronunciation. It's not I have got a new coat. No, I've got a new coat. So they have to listen very carefully to find out the words. This is bottom-up approach. They listen and find the words. So nurse work at a hospital. So they say, nurse. So they write nurse. You have to work on both approaches. Comprehension, ask some comprehension questions. Also, language part, the word, the structure, okay, the pronunciation part. Yes, or even you work on spelling, how to write the words. So you ask them to fill in the blanks and you check their spelling. Sure? Is that clear? Yes, everyone? Do you have any questions so far?
Yeah, it's clear.
So these are different activities like find the best choice or fill in the blanks, order the pictures. different activities. And then for pose, they start, the listening part was about different jobs. So for pose, get the feedback. You say, okay, look at the picture. Look at the picture and tell me, where do they work? What do they do? So they say she's a police officer or he's a cook. He works at a restaurant, or he's a nurse. He works in the hospital. Then you get the, what is the last word? Post, in post task, you get the
Feedback.
bravo, you get the feedback and you reflect on your teaching. For reading one, the same thing. You work on top down and bottom up. You ask them to read it, you skim it, okay, go through it, the skimming and get the gist. You ask them some comprehension questions. Then you go through the details. You ask about the words. Sometimes you need to ask some questions for structure part. Are they going to school or did they go to school? So you check, they understood how they can understand what's the difference between past and future or present. So you ask them a comprehension question. Also, bottom up. You ask about the structure, vocabulary. Sometimes you ask them to read some sentences to check their intonation, The other parts which is important is writing. As you know, communication is not only spoken. Especially these days, writing is very important too. So guys, tell me, what are different types of writing you can practice or with children, with young learners? Think about writing activities.
Story writing.
No idea.
Yes, please.
Story writing we can practice with the students, and we can give them some mind map of the different words so they can use them in their story, and then they can do the writing.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Story writing through pictures. What else?
Sentence formation.
Thank you. Writing sentences. What
Fill
else?
in blankets. Fill in blankets as is complete the sentence.
Complete the sentences, fill in the blanks with words. Bravo. What else?
Unscramble sentences.
Scramble words, scramble sentences, write them in correct order.
Or we can give them whole scenario of anything, and then we can ask them to write about all the things that are happening in the picture.
Yes, writing about the pictures. Bravo.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Yes, copying, gap filling, reordering words, substitution, guided writing. You give them some questions, and through answering the questions, they make a paragraph. Creative writing, you show them a picture. As your friend said, you show a series of pictures and said, write this story. Postcards, writing postcards, letter writing, emails, or invitation. Invite your friend to your birthday party. Yes, these are different writings you can give to young learners. Okay, so for example here, put capital letters and full stop. You can give them a paragraph and they have to correct it. So they practice how to start the sentence, okay, with capital letter. When put full stop or commas, okay, comma, full stop, or period. Or write names with capital letters.
And
This
answer.
is another one.
Excuse me. Have some questions from the context. Actually, if they have, for example, studied a story about a forest, they can have they can answer some question about the story. In this case, you can find that if they gist the concept, and they can actually practice their writing too.
Thank you. Answering the questions, you can check their writing. Yes. Or, you know, this is one problem usually children have. They stick all the letters, so it's very hard to read. So say my space, mother space, is space, a space. Yes, space between the words. This is one activity you can work on. What else? Like choosing linkers. Work on linkers, because, so, and, but. Or here is another one. Find the word. So can you tell me what is the first one?
No.
Unscramble the word. What is the number one? Can you say that again?
Rabbit.
Sorry.
Rabbit.
Rabbit. Very good. What about the second one?
Elephant.
Bravo. What about the third?
Snake.
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 This is another. Yes. Thank you very much. This is another.
Monkey. Last is monkey.
The last one is monkey. Bravo. I have a monkey here, by the way. Where's my monkey? I like my monkey very much. The pinky monkey. I have it. It's cute, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Them
So,
successfully.
so by the way, a snake. Usually, foreigners, not native speakers, of course, they say a snake, a school. So you have to work with them for pronunciation part. Snake, cool. Take, not a stick, a school, a snake. So that's another point we need to practice. So you can create digital lessons. So different activities, you can make a collage, okay, different activity, and show it to them and say, now I want you to write a story. I want you to write words. I want you to write sentences. Just make it fun for them. Even you can use masks, huh? Okay. Can you tell me what character it is? What character it is?
Spider-Man.
Thank you, Spider-Man. So what do you know about Spider-Man? Write 3 sentences or write 4 sentences to start to write. He's fast, he can jump, okay? Or he's a hero, these things. This is copying for very, very young learners or elementary students that they start to write. So start with copying, just copy A, N letters. Then here, capital words, you work on capital words, the spaces, and how to write correctly with the same size, not cap I too big, but 1 too small. So it's better you draw at least 3 lines. So they have to write between lines. Okay? So then you give them a paragraph and say rewrite it correctly. This is for post. Also, you can visualize the words. So long word. Make it fun for your students. Long, but small. Because it's small, they have to write it small. Big, very big. Or egg, in the shape of egg, they write. Why it is important to make to make a situation in the class that your students enjoy? Why do you think it's important?
Because to make it intrinsic environment so that it has positive atmosphere.
Yes, you remember well. We discussed it. Excellent. You remember very well. Bravo. Yes, we discussed it last session. This is the very first step. Your students should enjoy the class. So it's good to have fun. So they can bring their dolls to the class and said, okay, show me your favorite doll and write a paragraph, write sentences, write some words for it. So it depends on the level. So they start to write. or type it. If it is difficult for them to type, so they write it and show it to the webcam. Or in your face-to-face classes, they can come to the board to write, or in their notebook. Also through songs. Old MacDonald had a, and the right farm. They listen and fill in the blanks. You know the song? I remember when I was a child, we sang it in the kindergarten. Do you know the song?
Yes.
Yes? I'm sorry. I don't know if it's still in,
MacDonald
but
had a
Yeah,
farm.
had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, you were singing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. And on his farm, he has a, and it's with moo here and moo there. So definitely it was a cow.
All the
Very
animals
interesting.
sounds.
I mentioned that. Yeah, actually
It's like
today I was
the moo here, the moo there. Here moo, there moo, everywhere moo.
Everywhere moo. Yes,
Oh,
Sahar, please.
Old MacDonald had a farm, and on his farm
yeah,
he
yeah.
has some goats.
He has
Yes,
a
they
goat.
sing.
E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah. Good. All of you know the song. I
Yes.
But
saw it was, yes,
Miss
please.
Misan, I want to mention that today I was teaching to a girl. She's 7 years old, and to teach her animals, and I used exactly this song.
Oh my God. How
Yeah, actually, I
interesting.
searched it in YouTube. I found the video and I played for her.
How interesting. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
also have, thank you for sharing with us. That's nice. So you can also have guided writing. So you put some pictures and they say now, even as a homework, okay, as homework or as an assignment. They say, okay, I want you to write the word. So say there is they start to write.
A dog.
No, I guess it's a puppy or a
It's a
small
puppy.
dog or a
Puppy.
small dog
Mm-hmm.
and
Kitten,
And
kitten.
Kitten.
kitten or a small cat near our
Near our home.
house.
house, near home. Yeah. Good. Crosswords puzzle. They really like it. You can give them crosswords, or you can give them a sample. For example, a sample of paragraph writing after teaching how to write a paragraph. Okay, how to write a paragraph. You give them a sample and say, now fill in the blanks. Then you make it a little bit more challenging. Now I want you to write a paragraph about your bedroom or about your school, about your daily activities. Okay, so that was for writing. But remember, we always consider pre, while, post for process part. In pre, let's review. In pre, we put them
In the context.
in the context and
Background information.
elicit
Activate
the known part.
background knowledge.
Bravo. Activate their background knowledge, elicit what they know. Then we lead them. We start from known and we lead them to
Known.
Practice.
very good, to the unknown part. So we put them in a context so they know what's going on. They know what's going on. What's this lesson about? It's about going out with grandparents, for example. Then to understand the context, we need to pre-teach.
Key vocabularies.
Bravo, the key vocabulary. And when you want to teach vocabulary, not only you work on the meaning, also you work on
Pronunciation.
pronunciation, and then you check with your student through concept check questions and also the
Yes.
spelling. Okay, and
Spelling.
also the spelling. Bravo. Then in while you need to, what happened in while stage?
Questioning?
Practice. So depends on different style of writing. You have variety activities in the class. You can have games, they chant, song, read and write. You prepare worksheets for them. You put them in pairs. They communicate and they have communication about the dialogue or make up role play, for example. Okay, and in post you get post-it stage. You
Students,
get
students feedback.
bravo, feedback, and you reflect on your teaching. We never forget that they need to practice at home. So we, as a teachers, we need to give them homework, relevant homework. Good. So as teachers, you need to create a starter for every lesson. Just from the very beginning, you motivate your students to learn, and it's good to start the class with a very good warm-up, like song, games, dancing, telling stories, and these things. And move up activities even in your online classes. I want you to go and bring something yellow. So they go and come back and bring this. I said, this is yellow. Very good. They cannot see it for 90 minutes. Really, they cannot. So you can give them some move up activities. And different short activities, tasks for all types of learners. Visual, once more, visual.
Auditory.
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic.
And read and write, VARC.
Read and write.
And a short recap. So you need the learning style, okay, or the learning cycle. Start, practice, and close it, okay? Get the feedback. Is that clear, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, very good. If you want to have further studies or read more books, these two books are good books about teaching young learners and also class management techniques. You can find different activities and games in class management techniques. They're really good and handy books. Good. Do you have any question? Oh, Daniel, if you're still there, do you want to give any comments, any ideas?
Yes, I'm still here. That was an excellent presentation, Ilham.
Thank you very much.
Very impressive. And I appreciate the way you engage the participants in the call as well. And thank you to everybody who did participate, because that really helps the whole session become alive. And it's a fine example of how you should work in your classrooms. So after the webinar is finished, think back about how Ilham worked the questions to get responses from you people, and use that kind of engagement. And she even mentioned that as part of her presentation. It's that engagement by the participants that makes the class come alive. That's what turns it into a special experience for the students.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So I always remember
Excuse me,
this
Miss.
quote from Plato.
Excuse me.
That, yes, I'm
May I
sorry,
have
I
a
just want to
question?
read this. Yeah, sure. I just read this quote that Plato said, do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their mind. So always remember, it's good children enjoy that atmosphere and the class. Yes, please, go ahead. You want to ask me a question?
When teaching reading to young learners, when it comes to grammar, if students ask a grammatical question, shall we teach grammar during reading part or reading section, and how we should do this? And is it okay to do this? How should we deal with grammatical questions asked by students during a reading section? For example, in reading part, we shortly discussed reading part in young learners classes, and I saw a word. It was an imperative sentence. For example, I don't know, don't put on a hat, for example. For example, if it is something new, imperative sentences or something new for the young learners, and if they want to know what the meaning is and what the context is, what the usage is, shall we teach grammar directly while teaching reading?
Okay, that's a very good question. We never teach grammar directly to students, to children. You know, they study their grammar, even for their mother tongue, when they get to 11 and 12. So as we discussed first session, they learn holistically. So you just go through the meaning. So for example, for that one, don't put on your coat. Assignment, no, don't put on your coat. No, just put on your hat. Okay? Don't go through the structure and explaining these things, but because definitely they won't understand it.
And is it okay to interrupt reading? Practicing reading and start teaching grammar?
Definitely not, because the aim of the reading is comprehension. Okay?
So we
So you're
should keep
working
the
on comprehension.
so we should
Usually
keep
they
the
won't. Okay.
explanation as short as possible.
Yes, that's it. That's it. But if it happens that one or two students keep asking you and say, okay, I'm gonna tell you later. Let's go through it, then I tell you later. Never interrupt comprehension. I mean, never interrupt the process. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Daniel. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to add to that point that the way that you can teach grammar during reading is to correct if there's a mispronunciation or if there's an incorrect use of word structure or how they put the sentence together. But you teach it by demonstrating the correct way to say it, not by saying, okay, we're going to stop now and we're going to do grammar exercises and drills. You don't do that, but you can definitely stop for a moment in the reading process and demonstrate the correct pronunciation and the correct usage of the grammatical structure without going into the skills and analysis of it.
Yes, thank you.
Does that make sense,
Thank
Sophia?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Demonstration is always one of the best ways of getting a point across. If I make a statement that it ain't no good to do it bad, then I have demonstrated how you should not teach them the correct speaking. And then I could say, what I should have said is the following: it isn't any good to do it incorrectly. That's how I would use proper grammar rather than the improper structure of it ain't no good to do it bad.
Yeah, that's it.
So demonstration can illustrate a point far more easily, and they will remember the demonstration long after they would remember just going through drills and exercises. The drills and exercises put us to sleep so quickly, and that doesn't achieve the goal.
I previously used it to teach some specific pronunciations, like for example, pronunciation of TH. You know, it is really tricky for some students to
Yes.
pronounce TH at different languages. And long ago, there was a TV advertisement, and it was advertising a shampoo. The name of shampoo was Bass, but there was a baby boy who couldn't pronounce it well, and instead of telling Bass, he was saying bath. And I always tried to make students remember this advertisement on TV in order to imitate that baby boy to learn how to pronounce TH,
That's
bath.
good. That's good.
Or for example, as Muslims, we have some parts of actually Arabic verses, and even when we say prayer, like vela volin for the. another pronunciation of th, well, volin. I tried to make them remember how to pronounce this th sound in this way,
Very
and
good.
I was sure that they would never forget.
Yes, very good. Yes, that's excellent. Excellent. Elahim, could I ask you, we've only got a few minutes left, but could I ask you to put that slide back up, the Plato quote?
Sure. All right now. What was it? How to share? Yeah. Share. Share content. Yes. Yeah. So there we go. It's here. Yes.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Yes, that's it. Perfect. So the reason I wanted everybody to see this slide again is because I want to ask you the question, how would you describe Plato's quote in terms of the two types of motivation?
Intrinsic motivation, and the other one was extrinsic motivation.
Extrinsic.
Yes,
Extrinsic and intrinsic motivations.
that's correct, Sapide. Now, there are two phrases in this quote. The first phrase, do not train a child to learn by force or harshness. That's phrase one.
Extrinsic motivation.
Correct. That's extrinsic. But direct them to it by what amuses their minds. That is the
Developing
Intrinsic.
intrinsic motivation.
Yeah,
that's
intrinsic.
that's correct. Yes. Thank you, ladies. Yes, that's correct. The intrinsic. And as we've discussed before, and I've mentioned many times, oftentimes the students in a classroom are there for extrinsic motivational reasons. Maybe their parents are forcing them to come to the class. Maybe their employer is requiring them to come to the class. That's extrinsic motivation. You cannot eliminate extrinsic motivation. But as the teacher, if you can engage the students and bring them around within their minds to the point that they want to be there, you have switched them over to intrinsic motivation. And as the teacher, if you can bring them around to intrinsic motivation, you will have a much more satisfying and efficient learning experience with your students. So I just wanted to draw attention back to that slide. Thank you, Elahim.
Thank you. That was
Because
really nice.
it reinforces the extrinsic intrinsic battle. And that's a battle between extrinsic and
That's so
intrinsic
true.
motivation, right?
Yes, that's so true.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
When I was in Iran, because I have two daughters and I have some experience about learning English in Iran too for my daughters, and the thing that helped them a lot was watching cartoons in original. I mean in English, and with actually they learned English indirectly, and it really helped them.
Yes, cartoons and many programs such as Friends and Big Bang Theory, TV shows like that have been very helpful to assist people with the learning of the English language. Yes, that's very good. Thank you, Frida. Excellent, excellent. So there we go, folks. That's the end of today's session. Unless there's a last question that somebody has, are there any final questions for Ms. Elahim today?
No, thank you.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you all. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing ideas and comments. Daniel, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Be along the whole webinar. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed it. So everybody have a good few days and watch for the next email invitation for your next webinar. I'm not exactly sure what that date is going to be for you folks, but there are going to be demos coming up, I believe, in a week's time. So that's where you just give a brief 10-minute example of how you would introduce one of your conversation activities. So,
Okay, excuse me, I have two questions.
okay, go ahead, Shazia.
Hello,
Yes.
Daniel. Hello, Miss Ilham. I have two questions other than the lesson. The first one is that in the previous lesson, we have been asked for the phone numbers to add up in the WhatsApp group, but many of us are still not on the WhatsApp group. Please help us in that, number one. And number two is that on Canvas dashboard, there are a number of assignments. Are we all supposed to do all the assignments, or is there any particular one?
Well, the assignments that are on Canvas, I'll answer that question first. The assignments that show on Canvas, and everybody must do a foundation essay, a Mooc essay, a research paper, your conversation activities, and your 4 skills research. 4 skills.
There are quizzes also. There are many quizzes also there.
Oh, well, the quizzes are just part of your everyday, the grammar lessons that go through every module.
So that is for practice?
You must do all quizzes as
Okay.
you read through the modules and study the material. Every time you come to a quiz and follow it through in sequence. So from beginning to end with the quizzes, because sometimes you must complete a quiz before you are given access to the next section.
Okay.
Yes, you must complete all the quizzes on Canvas.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What about WhatsApp group?
As far as the WhatsApp group is concerned, if you type your phone number into the chat box right now, then Mojgan helps us to add you to the WhatsApp group.
Okay, my number is there on the chat.
Yes, we see that. What country are you in, Shazia?
I'm from Pakistan, and I have put in the country code also.
Ah, I see. So, okay, that's fine, because when I try to add people into the WhatsApp group, I'm not familiar with all the country codes. And and so I struggle to get people into the WhatsApp group. But Mojgan is much better at it than I am. So she will take care of doing that and adding you to that group. And Sadia, I see you've got an email about the Mooc. Did you receive the email, Sadia, about the Mooc essay? Ah, very good. Has everybody received their Mooc emails now?
Look, I have another question regarding the assignments. I'm looking at one assignment. It says discussion and reading and grammar assignments. What is that? Do we need to do that? It's out of 10.
Is that
It's not the grammar quizzes. It says discussion and reading, grammar assignments.
okay?
It's under my assignments
I'm just
list.
looking at the dashboard right now. The
Okay.
reading and writing, is that module 5, Jay?
No, it's foundation. Oh no, it's under assignments, not the module.
Under assignments, okay.
Yes.
And what is it again?
Discussion and reading, grammar assignments.
Let me just share the Canvas dashboard here. So I'm under assignments right now.
All right, yeah. Let me look at mine too. Huh. You see?
Oh, discussion
Right.
on reading?
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
This one?
Yes.
Discussion on reading.
Do we need to do that as well or no?
Oh, select one short story. Okay, this is where you've got Oh yes, this is where you've got the Thief by Ruskin, and that list of short stories. That's what you're talking about?
I guess so, but I'm not sure what we need to do for that. Do we have information on that or no?
Well, it's only what is in here.
That's it. Okay.
I remember participating in this discussion. So I I put in comments on a couple of the stories. So under assignments, that item under assignments
Yeah.
actually connects to, if you go to modules,
Mm-hmm.
that connects to, where are we here? Let me just find it. That connects, this is the developing reading skills. That's what that assignment connects to. So you've got this series of these, you've got The Thief by Ruskin Bond, you've got The Open Window by Saki, there's various short stories.
Okay.
So
And then do we?
the idea is that you read one of these short stories, and then you go into I did a couple of them just because I found them quite fascinating.
Okay.
So you read through the short story. That's fine. I'm not going to read it through. And then you go, so I did at least two of them. And then in the assignments, after you've read the stories, then in the assignments you go into that discussion,
Mm-hmm.
and you participate.
Oh, so it's not like writing an essay or nothing like that, but you just make a comments on that.
Correct. So this particular individual, now this goes way back to 2017. So what I did was I scrolled way down to get more current. See, here's September 6th of 2020. So
Mm-hmm.
I came down, here's somebody August of 2021. This individual, this person didn't say much. All they said was interesting summary.
Okay.
So the point is that you're supposed to read what somebody else wrote about a short story, and then you comment on what they say.
Okay.
So this person back in May of 2020 said it is a good lesson to always be vigilant of what is happening and don't just depend on what others say. So then you could make a reply back and you could say, yes, I agree with you. However, I have these thoughts about it. So that's how you participate in it. But there's no essay.
Okay, perfect.
It's just
Thank you.
it's a blog style approach. Okay.
All right. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Also, Cynthia Daniel asked about Mooc assignment.
Yes, and the Mooc assignment is obligatory. Yes, that you must do the Mooc paper. So if you have not received your emails from TESOL about Mooc, please send an email to Simon Baker at info@tesolcanada.org and request those Mooc emails. Because the Mooc assignment is not on Canvas anywhere. The Mooc assignment is only given to you through emails. And there's a PDF document with background information about MOOCs that you can use as one of your references. So you do need to get those. Let me just type in the chat box here.
Excuse me, in case we don't have any question, can we leave the meeting? I'm a little bit pained.
Absolutely. If you do not have any questions, by all means, you can go ahead and say goodnight and off you go and take good care of yourselves. So I'm only staying just to answer these questions. Yes.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Ms. Ali, for your great presentation.
Thank you for participation and beautiful comments. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Daniel.
Bye-bye. So if you do not have your email yet about the Mooc assignment, I just put in the chat box, send an email to Simon Baker at info@tesolcanada.org for your Mooc information. I don't have it, so I can't send it to you. It has to come from TESOL. All right? But yes, the Mooc paper is obligatory. You don't need to submit your Mooc paper before the midterm, because the midterm is only really based on the first and second modules. So your Mooc paper, I would suggest the order of your written assignments is your foundation essay first. That should be done before your midterm exam. And then after your midterm exam, you've got your conversation activities, you've got your 4 skills lesson plan, your Mooc assignment, the Mooc research paper, and then your final research paper. That's how I would suggest that you do them.
Anya, what I asked you was about reading discussion. I asked you, is it obligatory to actually choose one of the stories and comment
Yes,
story or not?
yes, yes, Mojgan, it is. Yes, you must do that reading blog thing that I just shared on the screen.
And my other question is about the Mooc research paper. Actually, I think we need to study 4 articles and summarize and then add our Mooc course to our research paper. Is that right?
Well, you're not really summarizing articles. You're sort of doing a history of Mooc. You're writing a little bit of a history of Mooc. So the idea is not for you to do a summary of an article. The point is to do a bit of research, Mojgan, and develop a little bit of an essay, a brief essay about the development, the origins of where MOOCs came from, how they started it, where it started, how it's developed, and what it means now in the 21st century at this point in time, especially connected to education.
Okay.
Daniel, I want to say goodbye. Okay, because I need to
Certainly.
leave.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody, and wish you all the best. Good luck.
Bye-bye, Elham. See you again.
Bye. Bye. See you. Bye.
Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so is that Mahida asking that you've completed the first module now in the middle of the second module? So the assignments are supposed, and you started October 4th. Is that Mahida asking that question? 2556481, is that Mahida?
Yes, it's Madiha.
Yeah.
Daniel, yes, I am asking this question.
Yes, so Mahida, at this point in time, the foundation essay, that first essay that you will find in the module of second language acquisition, you'll find it in that page. That's really the only assignment you should submit at this point in time before the midterm exam. But you certainly can also be starting to work on your research paper and developing the conversation activities and those various things. Okay. All right, folks. Oh, and I see Mahida, you also asked a little bit earlier, are we supposed to do all these assignments one by one, or can we do any one of them first? You should do them, the foundation essay first, and then build on your conversation activities, then your 4 skills lesson plans, then the Mooc paper, and finally the research paper. That would be the order that I would submit them, but you can be working on all of them sort of at the same time, rotating through them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Got it.
very good. All right, folks, we're going to say goodbye for today and have a good week, good few days until we meet again. And thank you very much for your participation again. That was an excellent session today. So I'm going to stop the recording and end the session. So goodbye for now. Take good care.